get the further chapters from the book, because we have 6 so far. Yeah.
Great question. Rick, do you want to answer that?
Well, the chapters are going to be released on the website on a regular basis. So you'll be notified by email on when the next ones will be appearing. And then a little bit about this project. It started in February, and when I started it, I was feeling like there would be well over 200 chapters. So the book stopped suddenly at chapter 100, which I'm now calling volume 1. And it stopped. I would ask why, because I felt like there was so much more that was supposed to come. This happened right at the beginning of April. So I didn't get any answers on why that was happening. So I just went back to my, regular job, and things started to develop with those 100 chapters because I got to meet Christina, and things started to develop in that way. Well, this summer, at the beginning of June, this started back up again. So now there's a volume 2. And so far in volume 2, there are 46 chapters. And what I was saying before is that I think of each chapter as like a song or an album track on an album, and that you don't necessarily have to read what came before it at all. You can just randomly find one that you like, that you relate to, that talks to you. And but there's a lot more, and so this project is ongoing. I'm anticipating that it's going to continue through August. So that's where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for the question.
So when you said continue through August, you mean you're going to be receiving through August?
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yes.
Yeah.
So right now, it's 3 times a day that I receive. And so like today, for example, I've already received 2 new chapters. So and this all happened because I was thinking about getting a summer job. And then I felt like I was being told that this was going to be my job, is to receive these chapters. So that's how I kind of look at it, is that I have a job to do. And so I have to be present and receive these chapters.
Yeah. Yeah. And as to when they're going to be released, Anna, I don't know. There's a lot of work involved in getting it ready to go. We'll do our best to get them out there. So yeah, let's circle back around and have people introduce themselves and say a few words. I'd love to know what drew you to read Journey. I mean, I just put out an announcement. It got shared all over the place. I think I'm not even sure how each of you heard about it, but I'd love to know what drew you to it, how you heard about it, and why you're here. And then we can carry on with questions and whatever comes up.
Sure.
Anybody? Please start. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go on since I've already started talking. Miguel actually sent me an invitation, and then I saw that it was on your website, so I realized it was sort of open. But then I read it, and I guess I assumed that you would be inundated with people. And so I didn't actually tell anybody. Well, I was really excited to receive this. And what drew me was this feeling that, wow, we're carrying on. I mean, it's just amazing, and what he's saying in this new book is so much what I want to hear. This is, it's beginning. This is what we've been waiting for. And I see that in the world, what he's talking about, that it is the institutions are breaking down. And if we can get some guidance about how to be in this new situation, that just feels ideal, just feels what I need, really.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I'm lapping it up.
That's wonderful. Yeah, Rick, would you like to say anything to Anna about that?
You were speaking for me too. I appreciate all of this from the same perspective of just, it's just resonating with both of us. And so thank you for everything that you said.
Yeah. Yeah. Riva, would you like to?
Sure. I'll try to make this concise.
That's okay. Whatever comes through, it's just fine. Don't try to make anything.
So I only recently came to the Course in Miracles and then subsequently to the Course of Love, and the Course in Miracles I started deepening with about a month and a half ago. I was introduced to it end of last year, but I ended up putting it down and picking it back up about a month and a half ago, and then I got to a certain point of kind of saturation or pause with it, where I was feeling like there was things that I needed resolved in my body, and then that's when I picked up the Course of Love and started feeling really seen by that, and I believe I came across and I don't know who to credit, Rick and Christina. I understand that it's sort of like a co-created process. So I'll just say that both of your work, I came across that, I think, on the Course of Love Facebook page. And I just remember specifically reading this. It was like late at night. I was just feeling, I've been feeling such energy from the world at large. I was just having a therapy session this morning about the fragmentation that I feel in my body. I have many of my peers and friends are kind of on the front lines of this fight. A lot of them are going to protests. It's not something that I feel called to. So I'm kind of more in a place of isolation, trying to do whatever work I can do internally from this place. And so these words felt, like Anna was saying, like the next step, like we were receiving this next step. And so that's why I'm hungry for more, because I'm like, please give me the roadmap. Like I need to know, so that's where I'm at. Christina, you're muted.
When I read it, it landed in my inbox, in April. It was like, duh, where has this been all my life? This is how I've been living or trying to live, and feeling like out of step, with the Course of Love community, or, just generally not quite finding my place, in a way. But yeah, and that's been the response from a lot of people, that this is what they were waiting for, is one way they say it, and another is, yeah, duh. Yeah. So that's great. Debbie, would you like to share your story?
Yes. I was introduced, I don't even remember how many years ago, to a Course in Miracles. Mm-hmm. And it was so, I had so much trouble with the text. And I come from a background where my religious beliefs as a Catholic were just in such conflict with this that I had to work it through. I knew that I was being given something on the heart level, on a truth, yet I was troubled by the language, trying to reconcile the differences, trying to understand. I mean, I threw the book away 3 times, and and then and did not pick it up again. and then, what is it, a year or 2 years? I don't know how long, A Course of Love hit me. And this was at a time where Mary had revealed herself to me, the Blessed Mother, I call her, in 2012. I mean, very major experience that I had with her, very deep and rich. And I was able to share the message of her love to a lot of people in my community. I was given that task or role. So when A Course of Love hit, it was a language that was simpler, easier for me to understand. And then I started to meet people like Miguel, who just recently, who explained to me what went on with A Course in Miracles. And it was like, oh, that's why I was having confusion. So that really helped me to clear up that piece. But this piece that also Miguel, I'm very grateful to him for sending it to me, because I've seen you, Christina, but I've read a little bit of your stuff. But when I saw this new piece, the language, I mean, I'm simple. I have a simple soul. And when I was able to read that, and it just hit to the core of me, the simplicity of the message is what I can live. You know, it's like when I read that text, I do not intellectualize. I move directly into love. And it's been so helpful to me because I'm living with, my parents came to live with me, my father and mother, and it has been nothing short of the greatest challenge of my life to caretake for them and to stay in that place of peace. And this text is giving me strength that is beyond my understanding. I'm just grateful to be able to be a part of this and to have a community, because I have a lot of religious friends, but there's a very small group of us. I know there's more of us out there, but a very small group of us that speak and on this heart level, if you know what I mean. That I've met anyway. So thanks.
Yes, I'm really glad you're here, Debbie. That's great. It's a sharing of experience, of lived experience. You know, for me, this is different because it's all about coming down off the mountain and living in the world as your Christed self. And sharing that and being an example. But the talking we share in this kind of Zoom call, if we keep going with these kinds of things, is going to be sharing our experience with living in the world and addressing the things that are actually happening in the world right now. And that's where I've always lived, you know, myself. Every time I've read something, it's lived there. And that's what draws me, you know. So, Rick, I'm sorry, I started talking. Was there anything you'd like to say to Debbie or River before we go on to Miguel?
I just appreciate Debbie's comment about the simplicity of the language, because I am like she is. I'm very simple, and so I need people to talk to me and spirit to talk to me in a very simple way that I can understand. So thank you for that comment, Debbie.
Yeah. Miguel, are you there? Unmute yourself if you would. Great.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing it with me, Christina. And I loved it. It is so simple, and you know, I have never listened to anything before ever. This is the first time I'm listening to something. I just always prefer to read, but I totally am enjoying listening to your voice, and everything just very simply beautiful. And thank you, Rick, for taking it down. Yeah, I'm very curious and looking forward to it. And yeah, that's it. Thank you.
That's great.
Actually, I'd like to add to that as well, because I thought you read beautifully, Christina. I've also found it difficult listening to people generally. I've looked for audios for A Course of Love and A Course of Miracles, and hadn't liked any of the ones that I found, but I was very taken by the way that you read. It was beautiful.
That's great. Whatever way we can to reach every willing heart that
Yeah.
finds this work, whether it's read or listened or whatever, that's wonderful. Thank you. Rick, did you want to add anything?
If it's okay with everybody, I would like to share something. Like I said before, we're working on receiving volume 2 right now. So on Saturday was July 4th, and at 3:42, the following message came through. I want to share it with you because this really gives the whole main idea of the whole project. And this is chapter 135. So many people pray to me for help with a wide variety of life's situations. I need your help with this. I need you to help me to help those who ask and those who don't. I need you to join with me. The physical and the spiritual joined together are a mighty powerful force. I have written my books to help free you to be happy. Now, I am asking you to repay the favor. The truth was given to you, and now I simply ask that you join with me in union and in service to help heal the world, one person at a time. It's the opportunity of a lifetime. I need you as much as you need me. We can't do it without each other. Together, we can sow seeds and manifest miracles. The more saints or light workers there are, the more effective I can be. Thank you for your dedication and diligence. So this is what it looks like in raw form.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like it was a good summary or main idea of all of the chapters in both volumes. So thank you for letting me share. Thank you.
That's so beautiful. Thank you, Rick.
Can we hear from Joe?
You certainly can. Hi, everyone. So I'll tell you that I was familiarized with A Course in Miracles and A Course of Love for years. I just know people that have read it, and I've looked and I've explored it, but I didn't like read it through the way a lot of people do, because I feel like, oh yeah, I get it, and then this is just how I receive a lot of things. So in that journey that I was experiencing, I was introduced to Christina through A Course of Love when I came in to help them on the internet and online and doing things through someone else, because I work I call it online presence management. And so Christina shared with me about this new book, and shared, sent me some chapters to read, and I got this feeling so quickly of like, yeah, duh, yeah, this is the thing. This is what I've been trying to live. This is like, yeah, let's do this. And so it was very exciting to read that, because I'm like, oh, and this is going to be, people are going to read this, which got me very excited. So, and I love the way it's written, because I'm a big fan of just speaking, and like you've all said, just simple language, just making it for everyone to understand and take in as they may. And so Christina actually asked me kind of how are we going to present this, because there were some specifications about how, like, well, we don't really want to like put a book out. We just want people to get this message. So I've been working with Christina's to build the website the way it is, and to do all of that stuff, and put the chapters out for everyone to just have access to, just have the access to read it. That's what it is. This message just needs to be put out there. And so I've been working to get it out there for people to read as easily as possible, with like all the ways that they can, and the listening, having the audio that Christina recorded and doing all of that. So I'm one of the I'm like a little cog in the machine that goes and moves things around and things, but it's definitely a message that I was so happy to read it. I was like, yeah, everyone should just read this, and if it falls, it falls. if they feel it in their heart, they'll feel it. But I really do. I feel like it's just so much duh to me. That's what I say about it. I'm like, it's such a duh. Like, yeah, live it.
It's a beautiful website. I think it's really lovely.
Thank
Very,
you.
very appealing. Yeah, it's
Great.
lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm
So-
very happy to see how well received it is.
It's Jill, thank you. I'm so sorry I didn't invite you in. And you're reminding me that this is completely a co-creation, which means I can also share a little of my story, because I want this to be, it is leaderless. And because I'm hosting, it's like, oh, I'm trying to make sure everybody's okay and all that. But no, I'm just here as a co-creator. And before you all joined us, Joe and Rick were on for a little time, and I was saying to them, we're like the Three Musketeers. We are literally co-creating this experience for everyone together. I mean, if I put it in a nutshell, Rick has joyfully received this gift. He received it. He's the gift who's received the gift. When it was sent to me by Glenn, when I read the email that Glenn sent with the PDF files that Rick had sent, which was scans of his handwriting, I hadn't even opened the PDFs and my body was buzzing already, because Glenn had written a lovely note and included a line or two of Rick's email to him. And I just wrote back immediately, which is so unlike me, saying, this is really important. There's something really important here. I don't know what it is. I haven't even opened the PDF. And within 2 days, I read the whole thing and wrote back and said, this has got to go out as an ebook on social media. It's not to be taken the time to publish into a hard copy, maybe later on, an audiobook, all of that. But we got to get it out there. And I will transcribe it. I will audio record it. I will put down whatever is needed to get it out there. And then Joe, I already knew Joe, and it was like, Joe, social media. What did you call it, Joe? What was the term you used for your work? I really ought to write that
I
down.
use online presence management.
Online
all the
presence,
things, social media, websites, content,
everything,
for it.
online presence management. Thank you for that. And I knew she was the right person because I'd been in a couple of Course of Love meetings working with her and Rose Gannon. And Rose had introduced me and invited me in. And it was every step of this since April has flowed beautifully. And that's exactly how we're living this, into the unknown, never done before. We're just taking it one step at a time. So Joe has been amazing. She found the template for this website, and she's been doing all the modifications. She worked a bit with my son to get the book cover down beautifully. All the pictures are mine, and she made them look, I call it ethereally earthy, because
Beautiful.
it's 5D Earth. And she did a beautiful job of filtering them to make them look that way. And she's constantly getting emails from me saying, Joe, can we do this? Can we do that? Can we fix that? I don't like the way that's working. And that's how it's going to carry on. So we feel like we put a little thing in place and we're going to circle back around with the next installment and on and on. It's just going to expand multidimensionally. And who knows, just one step at a time as it lands. Just this afternoon, I sent Joe the raw audio recordings for another 14 chapters. And I said, I don't know yet what installment 2 is going to be. But can you get these shaped up so that we'll kind of be ready, So thank you, everyone, for your stories. And thank you, Joe, for reminding me that I'm also in there. We're all here together, co-creating the new. That's what we're doing. It's really, really important for me to remember.
I was also interested that in the book, he mentions Course of Miracles and A Course of Love, but he doesn't mention The Way of Mastery or Sebastian Blacksley, who is now producing these books, Choose Only Love. I don't know if you're familiar with them. I'm sure you are,
Yeah.
Christine.
Yeah.
And I've been attending his gatherings on a Thursday evening.
Mm-hmm.
So it was interesting to me that wasn't mentioned, as this is a trilogy. This is the completion of a trilogy. That was how it was described in the book, rather than this is another one in all these that seem to be coming out at this time. So I'm just mentioning that. There could be other reasons why it was described like that, but it feels right to me because I haven't been attracted to Way of Mastery. And although I have been going to Sebastian, there are things about that that I feel are not quite at the same level, or not quite something or other, as to be totally up there with A Course in Miracles and A Course of Love. So,
well, may I just respond very briefly, Rick, and hand it over to you. I want to just say that each person receives in a different way. Everything is tailored perfectly for you, what you find and how you feel about it. So the fact that you're here, it means it works for you. And there's 7.5 billion people in the world, and everybody is going to find their own way and their own things. So Rick, please go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, Anna, that the Way of Mastery is actually mentioned in one of the later chapters of Volume 1.
all right. Okay.
Oh, that's interesting. So Rick, one of the questions I've asked Rick before, Rick, please, maybe you can sort of share a little bit on that, is I know we put the word receiver there, and they used to call it channeling. Something was being channeled. And I think when A Course in Miracles came, it was called process of inner dictation, and Helen took it down in her own shorthand, Helen Schuckman. And but when Mari received, she was called the first receiver. And then somewhere into the book, there was a place at which I remember she said there was a gap in the receiving. And it was more of a partnership afterwards. You know, Jesus became a companion rather than a teacher, and at the same level. And my experience of all of this is that we are asked to go out there as co-creators. And what Rick has done is a co-creation. So I see him in the book quite a bit as the expression of love that he is, the unique expression, the unique jewel that he is, and also the one mind, the one love, the one heart of coming through Jesus and the Ascended Masters, right? Isn't that who the we is, Rick?
Yeah, you know, I really don't know exactly how all this works. I know when I sit down to do, it's called communion, I hear a voice, I hear words a couple at a time. I don't know what the chapter is going to be about, and I don't know what the next sentence is going to say. But I couldn't have been a part of A Course in Miracles because that's just not me as far as being that complicated and having all this footnotes and everything. And even with A Course of Love, which was simpler, I could not have been a part of that because I think that this kind of material is coming from me. I mean, it's just so simple. So I couldn't, so that's what Christina was talking about, where each one of us has our own unique gifts and ways, and you know, and so love comes through us in ways that are unique to us. So that's how I feel about it. I don't really understand the whole thing. I really don't. I just know where I need to be, and I need to really be still and listen. And that's all I know about it. But I know that what has been produced so far is definitely something that I try to do in my life. I try to live like a free spirit. And like I said, the simplicity is definitely coming out of me because I'm very simple. But that's all I really know about it. It's kind of a mysterious thing to me. I don't know that I'll ever really understand it.
And I just love that because this is literally a journey into the unknown, one step at a time. So there are no answers. I have no answers for everyone else. I only have my own answers and my own heart's prompting, and I know that's what I'm called to do. And each person is the same. So, and when I feel when I'm living in that way, which is in a wholehearted, expansive way, it's like that line from A Course of Love that says, do you judge peas because you don't like them? No, you just know you don't like it and you move on. So in my announcement, I said, if a journey resonates with you, that's wonderful. If bits of it resonate, bits of it don't, that's wonderful too. If none of it resonates, that's wonderful. Our job, so Rick's receiving, my job is to transcribe audio, and Joe's job is to put it into a nice package and put it out there. That's all we're doing. That's what we're doing. And everyone, and having these conversations. And we'll see, this is the first one. If it's helpful, we'll do it again, and we'll see. Debbie and Miguel, would you like to say anything?
This is Debbie, and I would like to ask Rick, when I read the story of your personal life, my sense was that you were in a place of acceptance of what was going on in your life. Although I wondered about, anxiety or fear or whatever that you may have been experiencing. And the question is, since you've been receiving this manuscript, have you changed? What's your experience internally? Is there any difference in you as a result of receiving this from Jesus?
Well, I think in the past few years I've been really brought, to my knees with my life situations. I mean, so many things were going on, and I think before that I was probably an arrogant kind of guy, and so all the different things that happened really brought me and made me more humble. So the book, the fact that I was going to be doing this was a total shock to me. I never imagined doing anything like this. And it was a weird experience at first. Now, because I've been able to do it so often, I just kind of that's just how it is for me. I'm just always feeling like I can, communicate with them and they can communicate with me. And I feel like doing this process helped me to grow more and to open up more. And so it's not just that I do it, 3 times a day. It's that I feel this connection during my off time, my breaks, when I'm not working. So it's really helped me. Yeah. Thank you.
That's great, Rick.
Yeah, this is Miguel. I just want to ask if this recording will be available to listen to, because I missed the first question. Was disconnected.
I'll let Joe answer that.
The plan is to put these calls up on probably something like YouTube to put into, we can for sure share this when it's finished. And we did get that first question recorded. So Christina did the nice starting. So yes.
Thank you.
You'll get to it.
So yeah, we're not exactly sure, but Joe did snag us the YouTube channel. So we're all set to have a place to put things like this if we decide that's what we're going to do.
And it is possible for me to do things such as, if you don't wish to be like viewed on the video on like a public video or something, I can do things like blurring and name crossing out and stuff like that. So if you do join a call and then we are going to put it up, then you feel like, well, I don't really want to have my face or my name for any reason, because it's your, it's your privacy, it's your decision. You can just email the co-creatingclarity@gmail.com and let me know, and just let me know which name it is, and if you want to have, what you want removed, if you want your face blurred or you want your name blurred or whatever, just let me know.
That's great. That's great, Joe. And what about if I want my face enhanced and looked better? Can you do that too?
Well, Zoom does that. Zoom has a
Does it?
feature. Yeah, and I can do it, but it will be funny if I only do one, because then it would be applied to pretty much everyone, so everyone would get whatever treatment happens.
So there's a Zoom setting that will
But
enhance the way
I
I look?
believe fully, yeah, there's a Zoom setting to beautify.
Oh, I
But
didn't know that.
if I'm honest, I'm not a fan of the beautification things. I
Okay,
think everybody should just be as they are. I think everyone's beautiful. But if you want to have a blurry face, that's like to pretend it's prettier or something.
I was just kidding, but seriously, I mean, one of the things why I do this kind of stuff is because, you know, all of this stuff that we're living into, and we have to, it's like, for me, it's about freedom, power, and joy. So if we're not laughing a little bit, at least in the meeting, we can cry and do whatever else we want. But if we're not laughing, I don't want to do this, you know? So it's like, I always see the silly side of things, you know? So you're going to have to get used to me if we keep doing this. Right, Rick? I mean, I'm always poking fun at him, so.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, well, I noticed it's already 5:40, so I know there have been questions about, you know, how many more chapters, are they coming soon, you know, can we have the whole thing and all of that. So I just wanted to kind of draw us in towards, this is, we're living into the unknown. So first of all, you guys, you don't need the rest of the book to be living it now. And that's one of the reasons why somehow, right before Joe was ready to launch it, I was able to extract the sense of each chapter. I didn't want to put chapter titles, but I did extract for me, and again, this is simply for me, and it's right at the top above the chapter numbers, the essence of what I got to live in a little question. So Joe, could you stick that in the chat? I just extracted them from the website literally a few minutes before the meeting started.
Would you like all of them up at once?
Yeah, just stick them all up. Yeah, yeah. So I just pulled all those 6 different little questions up. And I just wanted to put it up there to remind everyone, because I'm remembering that, those questions, because those are things we're living. We can use them as a focus of how we're living every single day. You know, the questions are, you know, some of them are a bit contemplative, so we can kind of, as Rick used the word, commune and hold that question and ask and listen in quiet, or whatever way we take, if we're walking in nature or whatever. And as we're walking around meeting other people, reminding ourselves that no one is bad. You know, is anyone being bad? No. Why bless everyone? Because everyone is me. We are one. Bless everyone and everything. What do you teach? I added by example in parentheses, because I'm going to get Joe to fix that chapter title. I wanted to say, what do you teach by example? In the moment, if you remember that question, you know, so when I'm getting irritated with my husband, you know, if I can remember that question, what am I teaching by example? I don't want him to get irritated, but what am I doing? I'm getting irritated. So can I? So, and then the question printed on the website is, are you free to create? And I thought, I'm going to ask Joe to change that to, do you feel free to create? And in the moment, asking myself, if I don't feel free, why? You know, kind of feel into that and live deeply into feeling free to create. And how do you nourish souls? Maybe I'll change the sense of the questions to be, how do I nourish souls? But either way, you get my gist. That's what I wanted to share and say. This is big. I mean, it's simple. I love that it's simple, but it is the hardest thing to live every moment of our lives. And if we start living just these 6 questions now, oh my God, the world can transform tomorrow. That's how powerful we are. Rick, please, that's all I needed to say about this.
So that first question, what's next in the evolution of the soul? It's to replace our
Sorry, Rick, I didn't mean you have to answer the questions. You
Oh,
can
okay.
if you want to, absolutely.
Well,
But I'm meaning that the message I just gave around hang out with these questions for yourself. Make them your own in your heart, in your belly, you know, in your body.
I was just going to say that that first question really talks to this work, and that's that each one of you, what we're doing is we're allowing our mature souls to be our operating system instead of the default one that we were born with. And it is a new way of living, and it's a new way of figuring out how to move around in the world. And it was totally alien to my brain, you know. So I just think that's a really good question, and this work will lead you to being able to answer that for yourself. So thank you.
Do you have any intention to sort of take each chapter and look at it in more detail, and, you know, like we do with the other books, and have a discussion around it? And I would find that very helpful, I have to say. I mean, just the fact that you've pulled out these titles is helpful. But if we were to talk more around it, that would be also.
I hadn't planned on having discussions about the content. These are the messages I felt were the essence of each chapter in terms of being able to live. If I was to read chapter 1, then this is what I can carry forward with me every minute once I finish reading chapter 1 and listening for my answers. So not discussion, Anna, but I'm certainly open to sharing experiences of doing that. What answers came. Because maybe I'm not following exactly, but discussion about the words in a chapter or the reading in a chapter, the understanding of it comes to each one of us in our own way. Your own interpretation, your own understanding is what I feel the message of A Course of Love was turning us towards. And similarly with A Journey into the Unknown, it's turning us towards what is our role now in the world, to be the hands and feet and arms and legs and bodies of Jesus. So please, anyone else, it's not me. I mean, that's how I feel. I really don't want to get into discussion about anything, which is more of the mind and, you know, looking at words and sentences. So.
Well, maybe that was the wrong word, but sort of sharing, or just people expressing what it means for them.
Absolutely. Would you like to do that? Start that right now?
I would love to, but I mean, I've only just read them once. That's why I'm saying it would be lovely to focus on each chapter so that I could really, I mean, obviously I can do it on my own as well, but to do it in a group where, you know, we're focusing in depth like we do with the readings of the other books. It's not like we discuss them, but we do. We talk about whatever it means to us. We share it. We share experiences about it.
Yes.
And just hearing other people's
yes.
interpretations, it helps to deepen my own.
Okay, so we have another 20 minutes or so. We can do that here. Yeah, definitely. Experiences, interpretations, questions, you know, sharing. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. Anybody, it's open.
if I could share briefly, it's not necessarily specific to any particular chapter, but just something that I was reflecting on this morning, of a way that this kind of deeper work has shown up in my life, is that I have just been engaging with my neighbors in various ways as I've been new to this new place, and I share a wall with some of my neighbors, and I hear sometimes a lot of suffering and grief on the other side of the wall. I hear young children feeling like they're not receiving the support that they need, and I hear parents feeling really lost and really just kind of throwing their hands up, feeling like giving up. And so what I am trying to be in the practice of, in the face of really, really heart-wrenching grief, rather than, being a witness and feeling the sense of attack, and feeling that kind of urge to sort of curl inwards and hide, that something that I can do is just open my heart to every person that I'm witnessing, and and really feel connected to their heart, their isolation, their just the places that they are feeling alone, and be a friend and just kind of send that energy in their direction. And I think sometimes I'm finding opportunities to do that in a direct way, where I'm really speaking with them. And I almost wrote this family a note, kind of sending love their way, and God was kind of like, they can't receive that. That's not going to land well. And so, yeah, that was something I was processing today, just because I have been witnessing so much grief, in the collective. And so for me, where this work is really showing up these days is, how can I really, really witness this grief, and kind of transmute it into sharing love. That's, yeah. So.
Lovely. That is so powerful and so important, even if you're not, if you have to then take action, like send a note or whatever, that's entirely But what you're describing, just to the context for me, as you said all that, is what A Course of Love calls observation and observance. So you're looking at clear eyes, listening to what's going on. You're not putting your head in the sand. You know exactly, and you know beyond those five body senses what's happening, and you feel beyond that. And observance is remembering for them while they have forgotten. That's what it is. And that is so powerful. That's inside of you, holding that space is the way of Mary. And out of that way of Mary, depth of compassion and unconditional love, and holding all of it, both levels of experience, human and divine. Out of that, if there is something more for you to do, it will arise. And you've said that. So I'm just saying it again in different language. Thank you.
Appreciate that language.
Thank you. So anyone else? Debbie, Miguel, Anna, is there anything? Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry.
Debbie, go ahead.
Yes, I would like to share what it has been like for me since all of this very significant change in our culture with the virus. And it has given me a place, how do I explain it? I have wanted to be more silent. I have loved being confined to my home and just needing to go and get what I need to get for the home. And I have many dear friends, but I have found that I have communicated very little, very little. And it has been an opening of my heart to see, you know, as I sit in this room where my computer is and look outside my neighborhood. In that first month, I saw more families walking together, the kids riding bikes together, on skates together. I have not seen this much of humanity in my neighborhood in 20 years. And so that opened my heart to begin to see the gifts that this debacle was bringing us. That there was, you know, as Rick used the word, communion resonates in my soul so deeply and richly that the encounters, you know, just watching families be together, I go to many doctors for my parents, and their dedication during, you know, having to wear the mask and all that, and no complaints, just this giving and serving and doing what they need to do. It's just extraordinary to me. So I'm seeing that there is a very huge fruits that we're being given in this time. And it's exciting then to come and open my email and see this book, simple, wonderful manuscript that is just so easy. I could read it over and over, and I probably will, you know, to integrate that place of being quiet and communion and listening and experiencing what it is to be unified with humanity and God.
Lovely.
I can share a little bit. It's interesting that I feel very much like Debbie in the way that I've responded to the lockdown and actually enjoying the slow down and the lack of interaction with people. Just everything being so much more simple and just what's essential. But I have been doing a lot of online Zoom calls, and there's a group that I've been a part of, which is actually describing itself as going on an unknown voyage. And we've been just for an hour, once a week, traveling down river to an unknown destination and leaving behind everything that you know or that you might want to take with you, or so no agenda, really, no, it's really just practicing being in the moment. And so this last time which was on the Tuesday, my feeling was to connect what we were doing with some greater call. So it wasn't just that we were this little group practicing this, but that what we were doing, why it appealed to us, why it was calling to us, was because it was part of this larger emergence of what's happening in the world. That this is something that we felt called to, and very much to do with love and joy and just being who you are, whatever it felt to be, in a very simple way. Yeah, so. It's just been very enjoyable.
That's it. That's beautiful. Every moment of our lives, knowing that it's all connected. In every moment, we have the choice to be growing, expressing the love, growing it, enhancing everything, or being asleep and not, and adding to the pain. You know, absolutely, that's lovely. Well, we're coming up to the hour. I'm happy to go a couple more minutes if anybody has anything. Feel free. Rick, would you like to? Miguel, let me ask Miguel first. Miguel, is there anything you'd like to share?
No, thank you. I'm just totally enjoying everything. You know, I feel like that guy, you know, when Jesus was presented in the temple on the 8th day or something, there's an old man staying, a blind guy, I think his name was Simeon or something. He was there. He had been waiting for the Savior for many years. He knew the Savior would be born and be brought to the temple. So finally, after many years of waiting, so the baby is brought, and he, you know, and he knows right away. So he's so happy, and he asked, I think he asks to hold the baby, and he says, I have seen salvation, now I can die in peace. He's totally happy. Now I'm saying I've seen salvation, and now I can really live. So that's how I'm feeling about everything. That's how I'm feeling about everything that's going on, you know.
Yeah.
And I can only say, I can just look at myself only. I don't need to look at anything else. I can look at myself, and I know the world is changing. So yeah, thank you. Thank you.
That's perfect, Miguel. I'm glad you didn't say, now I can die in peace. We need you. We need every single one of everybody with whom this resonates. And yeah, you can just look at you, because you are one. You are everyone, everything. And that's one of those bits that in A Course of Love that I absolutely love, that made things so clear for me, was the bit that said, you know, the only difference between me and God is that I'm in relationship with some things, some people, some of the time, and God is in relationship with all of everything, all of the time. So that's what you're describing. Thank you.
We ain't seen nothing yet.
That's true. It's a journey into the unknown. Hey guys, if you haven't seen Frozen 2, see it.
I just watched Christina because you
Did
were
you?
about it. And it was beautiful.
Yes. And I saw that with my granddaughters and, you know, my son's partners, and my husband came with us. He was the only guy, 5 of us girls, and this guy went to see it. It was the day before Thanksgiving last November. And it was like, oh my God, you know, there was so much in it that was so significant. The language, calling her the bridge, and the union of, you know, the elements, and, you know, everything. And there's 2 songs, Into the Unknown and Just Do the Next Right Thing. That's all you need. First thing I asked Rick when I first talked with him was, Rick, did you see that movie? He said no. And I thought, oh, A Journey into the Unknown is what this book is called. It was perfect.
I just have one quick question. I received the link that got me to A Journey to the Unknown website. Is there, when I go and surf the net, I can't find the website. Is that the only way to get it, is through that link that was set by that email?
It should be searchable. My thought is that because there are other things right now that are a journey into the unknown that are something else,
Yes.
there's just not enough traffic on the site pushing that SEO, but I'll keep optimizing the site to try to make it more in the search
Thank
for you. But
Thank
there's a ton of things that are like
Yeah.
there's like a science fiction novel, and then there's
Yes.
obviously there's a connection there in the Frozen stuff too, but I will work on that with the optimization on the website.
Is there a reason why you're asking, Debbie? I'm curious because.
Well,
Right.
first of all, because it's easy to share a link that way with other people. If I go on the website,
Yeah.
I go on a website and I click on that link and I paste it into an email. If I lose this email in my thousands of emails, then I lose that link. I don't know how to save it.
Do you have
So-
the announcement, the email announcement that we sent out on Saturday?
I believe I do. I just wondered if there was a particular website address. And so, I mean, this is, whatever that link is, isn't a standard website address. That I don't think it is, right, Joe?
Link? No, it's a website.
It's standard. What it is because you see what you're seeing is journey.cocreatingclarity.org, and usually you'll see in a website you won't see the first something dot. You'll just see
Yes.
like website.com.
Oh,
But this
okay.
is just, the difference is only that journey is the beginning. It's a proper URL, but it's just a little different for some
Okay.
people. So if you're just looking to type it in, it's
Yes.
fairly easy to remember as journey.cocreatingclarity.org.
Thank you.
And of course, it'll also have on different social media sites, it's also clickable everywhere on all of those. So,
Okay.
and if you've signed up for the email, whenever we put a new installment out, you'll get an email, and that email will of course also have the link. So you'll be receiving the link in your email a few times.
So if you're sending it to anyone, hopefully, you can suggest that they sign up on the website for notifications, and then they'll keep getting reminded when we put new installments out. Because again, we're kind of thinking every week, but who knows, that could change. I mean, we could do it, decide we got to get the whole lot out, or do it every day or something. I don't know. Joe, don't panic.
I like panic.
But we're literally living into the unknown. So this is very exciting and very scary all at the same time for me. And Debbie, we're doing it on a shoestring. I mean, it's just, in terms of the reason it says journey.cocreatingclarity.org is because I didn't want to spend and go into buy a new
Yes.
domain and all that. And I've had
Yes.
Co-Creating Clarity for 10 years. That's my practice,
Yes, wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, so that's great. Good question. Good question. And certainly, by all means, anybody share that announcement. I really, the message that is in the announcement is fairly important for people to hear before they dig into the book. So, or the link to the About page is the same thing, and Rick's story is there. And as I deliberately called it Rick's story and Christina's story because it's just two stories. Each one of you can write a story. Maybe we'll start a page on the website of everybody's story, and they'll put it in there, And Anna, your suggestion around groups and stuff, I mean, I would love for you to try, see who comes, start one. Who knows? I mean, we've just begun. This is the Carpenters song I sent to Rick a couple of weeks ago. We've only just begun to live. That's it. I don't know about the White Lace and Promises, which is the next one, but hey, it could be, White Lace and Promises in a different way altogether, being committed to something quite different. So thank you, everybody. Anything final to say? Rick, please, would you?
It was so awesome to meet all of you and to hear from all of you. So thank you so much for including me in this group. And thank you for all of your comments, River and Debbie, Christina, Anna, Miguel, Joe. It was just so awesome. I need to go have a little freak out after this and just
We can all go have our little freakouts. I'm going to go have a cup of tea with my husband, Anna. You'll be pleased to know my husband is English, and we always have tea at 6 o'clock. So at the end of our work days, we both work from home. So
Wonderful.
Well, it was
Thank
lovely to
you.
meet you, Joe, and you, Rick, and of course,
Everyone.
Christina. Yes, thank
Yes.
you.
This was
It was-
absolutely lovely and perfect for starters. Who knows
Mm.
where we're going to go with this? Thank you all for being here on this very first one. Thank you.
Man, thank you.
Love you all. Love you all so much. Mwah, mwah.
Love,
Bye.
the love.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.
Bye.